Woke up as I got out of bed, shouted at me, "Don't just stand there. That wasn't your evidence before court."
I'd have to accept that.
But you phoned security. That was your evidence.
That is correct, my lady.
And your wife dialed the number.
That is correct, my lady.
And then there are two unbelievably important things, and the next one I want you to read into the record. Now, in that paragraph, the last three lines, just read them carefully and loudly so everyone can hear.
Is it from
I realized I had called.
It says, I realized I had called the wrong number and ended the phone call. I made the call from our main bedroom and can't recall if there were noises from the house while I was on the phone, as I was concentrating on the phone conversation.
Indeed. Indeed. So, it was put to you yesterday that there's nothing in any statement saying that you did not concentrate or couldn't recall what was happening. But you did.
Yes, I did, my lady.
A year ago.
Yes, that is correct, my lady.
Then I rushed outside to the balcony after I ended the telephone call and again heard a woman scream.
That's correct.
Then the word moments. Moments after I got out on the balcony, I heard the shots and a woman screaming. Importantly, you wrote, while the shots were being fired.
That was my observation. That's correct.
Yes. The woman's screams continued in the moment after the last shot was fired.
That is correct. That is also my observation.
Then, I'm not dealing with that. Mr. Root dealt with that extensively about if your wife recalled 4 or 5 shots. But what's important is the next paragraph. After the shots were fired and the woman stopped screaming, it quietened down, and my wife commented that she thinks the man was killed by burglars, and that is why the woman screamed like that. That was a discussion you had before you wrote this.
That is correct, my lady. It was her comments immediately after the incident.
I'm not going, as I said, I think there are more. I'm not going to read them all. I will now ask you to look at the heading, the morning after the incident. I could not sleep again after the incident on 14 February and stayed awake to make plans for improving our house security. I even took the measurements of our sliding doors so that I can order trailer door security gates. That's what you did, and that was your evidence.
That is correct, my lady.
The next paragraph deals with your call to Mr. Willem Vos. You wanted to call Mr. Willem Vos.
That is correct.
And then, I said there are 1 or 2 really important things. Now, this is a really important issue, and I want you to read it out. Please read out the next paragraph, starting with after Willem called.
I beg your pardon, please just repeat
After
that.
Willem called a few people, start there and read it out, please.
After Willem called a few people, he called me back and said that he had heard it was a domestic violence incident. I recall that I told him there is no way that what I had heard was a domestic incident. I said to him that I was convinced those people were attacked in their home, especially because we heard a woman and a man calling for help.
And then the last sentence, just read the last sentence clearly.
Also, the screams did not sound like fighting, but more like panic and distress calls of someone being attacked.
See, that's where the cross-examination yesterday stopped by saying, why are you now describing the screams, you and your wife? It must be something that you thought out after evidence. But you described those calls being panicked and distressed a year ago.
That is correct, my lady.
I see.
You deserve to know more.
eNCA.com.